Rogers Center in Toronto, the site for the start of the Rays road trip, a 3-city trip, a 9-game road trip for the actually an 8-game road trip for the Tampa Bay Rays. As they get ready for this game, Brandon Guyer not on the active roster. The Rays playing with a 3-man bench, and it's a shame because Guyer has been playing his best baseball of his career. He got 2 starts against right-handers the last 2 games against Boston. He went 6 for 10, 2 doubles, 2 RBIs, 3 runs scored. He would fracture a thumb diving for a Grady Sizemore double in the 5th inning of yesterday's game. He stayed in the game, actually had a base hit with a fractured left thumb, but afterwards they diagnosed it and he was placed on the 15-day DL. So the corresponding move, Alex Colomé, just reinstated from the suspended list. He is recalled from AAA Durham. He was to start tonight for the Bulls. He is available in the Rays bullpen tonight. Right now we're ready for baseball. Let's take it back upstairs. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson.
Thank you very much, Todd. Joe Madden leading the Rays onto this road trip, riding a 4-game winning streak, and we'll take a look at the Rays starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. David DeJesus going to lead it off. He's the DH. Then Evan Longoria remains in the number 2 spot in front of Matt Joyce, and Desmond Jennings hits cleanup tonight in center field. James Loney 5th, with Will Myers in right field hitting 6th in front of Cole Figueroa, Yunel Escobar, and Ryan Hannigan hitting 9th doing the catching.
Well, taking the mound tonight for the Toronto Blue Jays, the big right-hander Drew Hutchinson making his 11th start of the season, 3-3 record, 3.45 earned run average, throwing the ball well lately. His last 2 starts covering 14 2/3 innings. He's given up a grand total of 1 earned run, and included in those numbers 2 starts ago, a 3-hit shutout against the Rangers in Arlington.
And David DeJesus all set, stepping in here against Drew Hutchinson. Rays again will be wearing their camo caps, and the Blue Jays camo caps, the Canadian Forces camo caps. And the first pitch of this game presented by Pinch-A-Penny. 1 ball, no strikes. A fastball misses. DeJesus starts the night at 264. 2-0 the count.
Well, we are going to get a chance to see the Toronto Blue Jays at their very best, or at least they've been playing their very best in the last this 6-game winning streak. All facets of the game are clicking.
And there is ball 3. One of the things Hutchinson has been doing is throwing strikes in his spot in the rotation, but he promptly falls behind David DeJesus, 3-0.
These Rays hitters, especially DeJesus, they are going to make you work and force you over the plate.
That's a strike. DeJesus thought he may have drawn the walk there, and Corey Blazier says that's a strike.
I think Deanna Navarro, a new catcher's mitt here. Yeah, this 6-game winning streak, the Toronto starters have been outstanding. In fact, they've picked up the wins in all 6 of those starts. The bullpen's been very good. The offense has been scalding hot.
Now the 3-1. And we have a full count.
Get a chance to see Mark Burley, as you see there. He'll be on the mound tomorrow night in a marquee pitching matchup.
He is off to a great start, 8-1. Alex Cobb will do the pitching for the Rays at 1-1. 3-2, lifted into left center field. Cabrera over there for it and makes the catch. That had enough hang time, and Cabrera runs under it to make the grab.
Let's take a quick look at the Toronto defense as it lines up tonight in the outfield, left to right. Melky Cabrera, Anthony Gose, and Kevin Pillar. Across the infield, third to first, Brett Laurie, Jose Reyes, Steve Tollison, and Edwin Encarnacion. Deanna Navarro is behind the plate.
And as Evan Longoria steps in, he's the center of our GMC big matchup tonight against Toronto. Since 2008, 72 runs batted in. Then a big cut, and he fouls this one. So you top that RBI list with 72 in front of Nelson Cruz and Adam Jones against Toronto pitching. Drew Hutchison, born in Lakeland. He'll be 24 years old in August. 1-1 the count. One and two.
And they said that this is the pitch. The fastball is the pitch for Hutchison, which has really allowed him to take things to his next level. Aggressive with the fastball, and that's what they want out of him.
High fly ball back into center. Anthony goes all the way to the track in front of the wall, and he makes the catch. Boy, Longoria got great carry on that one, sending Ghost to the center field fence.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to watch as this game unfolds, is the carry, because I did not think, I mean, Evan put a good swing on this ball in, but he's able to scoop it out there to center field, and it got a tremendous amount of carry all the way out there, close to 400 feet, and up against the wall goes Ghost.
So 2 outs, and with Matt Joyce now stepping in, Blue Jays will put the shift on. The pitch to Matt outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Yeah.
2 balls, no strikes to count.
Their version of the shift, Wayne, that you just mentioned, a little bit different. As you see out there in right field, or shallow right field, is Brett Lawrie, the third baseman, coming all the way over there.
3-0 the count on Joyce. Well, more and more teams are employing the shift. There's a strike now, 3-1. Count's going to be full. On deck is Desmond Jennings, the cleanup hitter for the Rays. And ball 4. 2-out walk sends Joyce down to first base. And that will get Jennings to the plate.
Tries to come with the fastball in. This is a tough pitch. You want to make sure you get it right on the corner, and that one pulled just a tad off. Good take there by Matt Joyce, and the Rays get a 2-out base runner. Yeah, you talk about that fastball usage by Hutchison. You know, he's got a good slider, and sometimes can fall in love with that pitch a little bit too much. Starts to lose its effectiveness at that point.
Desmond Jennings takes one too low. 1 ball, no strikes. What he really likes, and recently has been using to his advantage, you mentioned the fastball, is that 4-seamer. He has not been a big ground ball guy in his career. And there is a ground ball to short. Reyes takes it over to Tolleson, who makes a nice pickup there on the toss. And the Rays are retired in the first. Walk and a man left. That's it. No score. Mid-1. This is the lineup he's put together tonight, presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Jose Reyes leads off. Then Cabrera and Bautista, Edwin Encarnacion, red hot. Brett Laurie, Deanna Navarro, Steve Tollison, Kevin Pillar in right. Anthony Gose hits ninth. Here's Reyes, and Eric Bedard's first pitch is outside and low. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, we highlighted Eric Bedard early, and he's been a guy that, you know, starts to fill in for the Rays because of injury issues, and he has become one of the guys on this rotation.
There's a bunt by Reyes, and he's going to beat it out. Well, you talk about deadening a bunt. He did.
Yeah, and you know, that ball coming back towards Bedard, you'd like to see him hop off the mound and get that, but it caught him a little bit flat-footed, and you're right. He took all the steam. Look at that, right off the end of the bat. Got a little running start. He is so proficient in doing this, and it is not easy to do. Put your body in motion and then not only make contact with the ball in fair territory, but deaden it, like you said.
Reyes has been a catalyst for this club like they thought he would be. Was last year, the ankle injury devastating, had the hamstring injury first thing this year, but he's been playing well and running well recently for this team.
Well, that was 9 straight. He's hit safely now in 9 straight, and you talk about the running game, 3 stolen bases yesterday.
Yep, that's exactly right, and he's hit up around 360 for the life of that hitting streak. And 10 out of 11 now overall in the running game. A 2-0 count to Cabrera.
And the two pitches have been changeups, and that's something that you typically don't like to see first time through a lineup. We talked a little bit about it yesterday in that outing.
Yeah, there's not a lot to change up from. High popper left side. Longoria will track it to the stands, but it's out of play. So it's 2-1.
And you're right, Dwayne. There's no reference point. See, that the whole effectiveness of a changeup is because they've seen something else. They've seen the fastball. You know, second, third time through a lineup, you want to throw a guy a first pitch changeup? Absolutely, because he's seen the other stuff. The first at-bat of a game, especially a team, there's only been 1 start. Bedard's only had 1 start against the Blue Jays since 2007. So you want to come after him first before you come with that changeup.
Shot back into left. Joyce will go back. It's going to be off the top of the wall. It'll bound back to Jennings in center. Reyes is headed to the plate. He will score on the double by Cabrera.
Pitch selection. That's what cost Eric Bedard there. First of all, he started Cabrera out with 2 changeups. Second of all, if you were to list out Eric Bedard's pitches, the changeup would be by far and away at the bottom of the list. And 3 of the 4 pitches to Cabrera were changeups. He obviously had a good read. You know, the arm action on the changeup for Bedard is not the same as the other pitches, so it's a lot easier to pick up. Typically, he uses it so infrequently, it really doesn't matter. But when you see 3 out of 4 the same, that's the result you're going to get.
Well, he's facing a red-hot team. You wonder if they try to get tricky too early against this lineup. Now Jose Bautista. Pitch is down.
Dwayne, I think you're absolutely correct on that. I think that, you know, obviously it's still too early to tell, but it's certainly in Melky Cabrera's case, you're trying to get way too tricky. Go with what has worked for you, because that will get any lineup out. You saw him pitch well against Boston, New York, the Angels, the Indians.
Check swing and a little looper into right to fall for a base hit. Big hop to Myers. Throw's going to be cut off. The run will score, and they'll have Bautista caught between first and second, and he is out trying to get back in to first base. Figueroa came over to put the tag on him.
And I think
Cabrera has scored.
And I think Jose Bautista, the reason he got in that rundown is he wanted to make sure that Cabrera was going to score. When things are going good, they're going good. A little check swing there by Bautista. He drops it in, and then the throw by Myers, you see him take off. But Loney cuts it, and they get him in the rundown, and the Rays record their first out.
So an RBI single Bautista's out 9-3, 6-4. One out with 2 runs home already. Here's Edwin Encarnacion, and here's a guy who is red hot, especially in the power department. There goes the bat, a big swing and a miss, and the bat went end over end beyond Luis Rivera, the third base coach.
Well, big with the power numbers and pretty good here too with the bat toss. Pretty good distance. It's not quite in the Kelly Shoppach realm, but it's close. Good effort.
Yeah, that bat's so valuable it was retrieved by security.
Yeah, right. You better believe that. The damage that he's done in May, pretty astounding.
Well, he didn't hit his first home run until the 22nd of April. He has 12 home runs in May.
Yeah, he made up for lost time, no question.
Fouled right back for strike 2.
How about the fact that just in his last 10 games, he's had 3 multi-home run games? That's seeing the ball way too well.
Two-strike pitch. It's 1-2. Toyota trend. Look at that. Over 19 games, a .297 average, and 12 home runs. Slugging percentage at .851. 2-2. 35-year-old left-hander Eric Bedard on the hill. Big long cut. Power in that cut from Encarnacion.
Yeah, as you start to cut down through the middle of this Toronto Blue Jay lineup, you know, just look at their home run totals. Melky Cabrera out of the 2-hole has 8. Bautista 12. Encarnacion 14. Laurie has 8. You've got to be able to command your pitches to both sides of the plate, put them in good spots.
And the count will go to 3-2.
You know, and that's demoralizing too. You know, 2-2, you got a guy in swing mode. He's aggressive, and you throw him a pretty good curveball to try to end that at bat. And not only does he take it and hold up, but he just spit on it, just like he recognized that right out of the hand.
And he shoots it the other way. That's going to fall for a base hit. One hop in front of Myers. That's 4 consecutive hits. 2 runs home with 1 out and a man at first.
Well, Bedard's going to try and come in here, and this ball stays out over the plate with some elevation. And Encarnacion, even with that swing, he gets up to it and is able to get enough of it, drops it out in front of Myers to keep this inning going here for the Blue Jays.
Here's Brett Laurie. He goes after the first pitch, the fastball, fouling it back. Well, the Rays held him in check in that first series. But over close to a month now, he's hit better than .290. The fastball is inside. 1-1.
You know, what we see a lot from the Rays pitching staff is when they're familiar with an opponent, and obviously American League East teams would qualify, they usually pitch them very well. They did that in the first series. They split that series 2 games apiece, but held this line up to a .205 average over the 4 games.
Cut and a miss. It's 1-2.
They're just able, because of 19 times of playing each other every season, so much more information that they can put together.
Now, teams try to out info each other these days. That will force another 1-2 pitch, a fastball. Lowry has been dividing his time recently between third base and second base, depending upon the opposing pitcher. And with the left-hander, he's at third base. Ground ball, that's going to go through the hole between short and third. Encarnacion stops at second base, and the Blue Jays have opened this game with 5 consecutive hits. Have just 2 runs and 2 men on. So something's got to give sooner or later here.
Boy, you would certainly think so. Trying to come in there, Brett Lawrie is a little bit quick with the hands there. Look at him down and through that baseball, finds a hole on the left side. You know, during that 5-start stretch for Eric Bedard, he held hitters to a 160 average. Now, is he going to do that all season long? Probably not. Well, that's why it's averages, because this 5 for 5 to start this game. Pretty incredible quick start here by the Blue Jays.
Here's Deoner Navarro, the former Ray, switch hitting catcher, hitting .266 overall, .213 against left-handed pitching. There's a strike. Bedard has never been a big ground ball pitcher, but he does throw a ground ball once in a while, and one right here to one of the infielders would be exactly what he would be looking for. Fly ball, short right. Myers is there to make the catch with the runners holding. So 2 gone.
Let's take a quick look at the Ray defense as it lines up tonight in the outfield. Left to right, you've got Joyce, Jennings, and Myers. Across the infield, third to first, Longoria, Escobar, Figueroa, and Loney. Ryan Hannigan will handle the catching duties.
Well, here's Steve Tollefson playing second base. 30-year-old infielder. That's a strike call. Tollefson against left-handed pitching so far this year is 11 out of 31. You get into the bottom of their order, Tollefson, Pilar, and Gose. They've all put together some pretty good numbers against left-handed pitching. Not the biggest names in this lineup, but you go 7, 8, and 9 and what they've done against left-handed pitching. Together, those 3, Tollefson, Pilar, and Gose, are hitting .386 against lefties.
Wow. You know, and incidentally, or ironically, that's the part of the order that has given Eric Bedard the most issues. The bottom part of the order. He's done a good job controlling the top. Not tonight.
Fly ball to center. Jennings angling to his left to make the catch. So after 5 consecutive hits, 2 runs is all they get. We go to the second. on Sun Sports is presented by Toyota. Let's go places. AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Checkers. Checkers brings big flavor for a small price. Feed your craving for quality for only $1. Cha-ching. Rays and the Blue Jays moving on to the second inning from Toronto. And here's James Loney stepping in against Drew Hutchison. Sharply hit, picked up by Tollison at second. Loney is out number one. 1 pitch, 1 out right there.
I think this Rays lineup, having faced Drew Hutchison one time already this year and knowing that he's using the fastball a little bit more frequently as of late, they're going to be up there ready to hit, just like James Loney was. Hit the ball hard, but on the ground right at Tollison.
Here's Will Myers. Will comes into the game hitting .229. The pitch is a strike.
Will's like, where's my fastball? Really? You're going to start me with that?
Chopped to third base. Laurie throws a strike to Encarnacion. 2 ground balls, 3 pitches, 2 outs. Look, it's Cole Figueroa on his way to the plate. Taking a little time here with the 2 very quick outs. The Rays tonight face Hutchison, who not only has been on a pretty nice little run, but his strikeouts, that strikeout rate has been very impressive as well. Upstairs now 2-0. He's in the top 10 in the American League in strikeouts per 9 innings with an 8.85 rate per 9. He's 2-1 with Figueroa.
Yeah, he's another guy who mixes his pitches very well. You know, he stays out of very distinctive patterns, and so he gives you a lot to think about. He's got quality stuff.
A little nubber off the edge of the mound to short, and by the time Reyes can field it, no play at first. That ball had a cued right there, hit the corner of the mound, and Reyes had no chance. An infield hit for Cole Figueroa.
Here you see it right here. That ball right off the end of the bat. That's exactly what that was. A cue shot, had no oomph behind it, and so therefore no play to be made. Now this is another situation for the Rays. Offensively, they've got another pitcher on the mound who is susceptible to the stolen base. So anybody that can go, be ready.
Yeah, 9 of 11 the opposition running against Hutchison. Pitch to Escobar. He takes it on the corner for a strike. Big cut and a miss. And now Escobar is behind 0-2.
Yeah, you know, Escobar always have the big swing, and that one got a little bit too long right there, and Hutchison was able to beat him upstairs with the heater.
Yeah, it's tough with that kind of swing to catch up to a pitch up there. Chopped to short. Reyes will take it to first. The Rays are out in the second inning. 1 hit, 1 left. 2-0 Toronto. Support here in Toronto. They are down by a couple of runs. They have grown accustomed to scoring first in games. The cold hard facts brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. The Blue Jays certainly have grown accustomed to scoring first 33 times. The Indians scored first today and then lost, so they've jumped ahead of the Rays. Rays have scored first in 27 of their games. Kevin Pillar looks at a strike, and traditionally speaking, mathematically speaking, important to score first. If you break that down, fate will favor that team that scores first. 1-1 the count to Pillar.
And that's why when you do score first, then all of a sudden, what do you look for after that? Well, then you look for the shutdown inning. You get that, now you're able to add on, and you're right. Over the course of the year, for every team, the record's going to be so much better by putting that first run on the board.
It's a ball and 2-strike count as Pillar goes the other way out of play.
Although that did not help Cleveland today as they dropped that game to Chicago.
Yeah, in fact, the Indians scored a run in the third. They didn't get the shutdown inning. White Sox came right back with 3 in the bottom of the third inning. Jennings backpedaling a bit in center. First out here as Pillar's retired.
And you know how they got those 3 runs? Cleveland, who has been very, very porous defensively, had a error, third baseman Lonnie Chisenhall, an error with 2 outs in that inning to extend the inning. Should have been the 3rd out. And the next player up, Diane Biciedo, 429-foot 3-run homer. And never looked back.
Yep.
With defense, you talk about a team struggling defensively. They have more errors than games played.
That's amazing.
That really is. They have 53 errors in 52 games.
Want to know the count here on Ghosts? Well, the Rays have settled down their defense, and the Blue Jays have been playing good defensive baseball as well. Ghosts late on the pitch. The count is 1-1.
Yeah, I don't know if these two teams have that many errors combined. The Blue Jays have 25.
No, they don't. 20, but between the two of them, 51 errors.
There you go. And Cleveland 53 by themselves.
Yep. Two balls and a strike. Blue Jays had 5 hits in succession in the first inning and scored 2 runs. That evens the count to Ghosts at 2-2.
If Eric Bedard is able to continue to put that pitch out there to Ghosts, he's going to have trouble covering it. Keeping it down and away. He'll give you a little bit of across the body action, driving that fastball down there.
Goes, makes contact, fouling it out of play.
That's the one that he'll have a chance on. If you elevate it, he can get the swing to it. If you keep it down around the kneecaps out there, the best that he's going to do is hit you a little chopper to the left side.
Up the left side with some slice toward foul territory. Count still 2-2. Ghosts in his 10th start, 14th appearance overall this year for the Blue Jays. He has hits in 9 of those 10 starts.
Yeah, and he adds that element of speed down at the bottom of the order.
Yep.
You get him on, and all of a sudden it wraps around to Reyes, more speed, then the power comes. As much as you want to hold down leadoff hitters, you better do a good job on Ghosts too.
That's Joyce in left. That'll be the second out. So 2 up and 2 down. Celebrate Father's Day early with the Rays when they take on the Mariners. That'll be Sunday, the 8th of June, and the first 10,000 fans 14 and older Get a James Loney grill set presented by KM. Get your tickets now at RaysBaseball.com or call 888-FAN-RAYS. Reyes takes the pitch for a strike. Pop to the right side. Loney settling under it. And it's a 1-2-3 second inning as Bedard recovers from the first. On to the third. 2-0 Toronto. For you to tweet your photo using Sun Sports fan photo for a chance to have it shown in our broadcast later in the game, brought to you by AT&T. Here's Ryan Hannigan to lead off the third. Then DeJesus and Longoria. High fly ball right center field. Pilar back for it and makes the catch. Hannigan going after the first pitch. Now back around to the top of the order. David DeJesus. Rays beginning a 9-day, 8-game road trip into Toronto. 3 in Toronto, 3 in Boston, and then 2 in Miami. This is the third 3-city trip for the Rays already this year. And their 2-city trip was a West Coast swing.
Yeah, the road has not been easy or kind to the Rays. Those 3-city trips, this is a shorter one just because of the 2 days down in South Florida, but still, they feel like you're out on the road forever.
There's a shot high and deep to right. That ball is going to get out of here and then some. Home run for David DeJesus, and the Rays are on the board. That's number 5 for DeJesus.
The sound said it all, and you could hear it reverberate up here, and we're way up here. You knew that was no doubt.
Well, the high fastball, and DeJesus turns on it. So the Rays trail by 1 now. And Evan Longoria, who hit the ball to the wall in center field in the first inning, only to have Anthony Gose go back there and catch it. One strike to count to Evan. 1-1. Evan coming out of the Boston series with 8 hits against the Red Sox. Two and one.
Well, he really got things started. That his final at bat of the 3rd game of the Oakland series led off that 11th inning with a base hit, and then those 8 hits in Boston, 2 3-hit games and a 2-hit game.
Yeah, he was 8 for 16 against the Red Sox. Holding up right there, 3-1. And he's on, drawing the walk. So the second walk given up by Hutchison in the game tonight and all season long. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Home run by David DeJesus here, giving the Rays their first run. Longoria's followed with a walk, and here's Matt Joyce now. Sean Rodriguez leads the team in home runs with 6. Anytime you need a 3-run home run, they're going to call upon Sean Rodriguez. 6 homers for Sean. Longoria has 5, and DeJesus now has 5. Two and 0 the count. On deck, Desmond Jennings. Now Pete Walker, the pitching coach, goes out there to have a word or two with Hutchison.
Well, let's look at it. The home run by DeJesus on a pitch that was middle of the plate and had elevation. Then all of a sudden, you give up that home run. Now you start to nibble. You nibble to Evan Longoria. You walk him. You're behind 2-0 to Matt Joyce, trying to make perfect pitches instead of just staying in the zone and attacking. And I think that's what Walker was telling him. Hey, listen, let's get back to throwing strikes, working ahead, and pounding that zone.
Runner takes off. The pitch is a ball and no throw, popping away from Navarro. But I'll tell you, Longoria, realizing Hutchison paid him no attention at all, took off, and there was no way that Navarro was going to throw him out anyway.
Well, he said that was an issue. It's been building with Hutchison. Now opposing base stealers 10 out of 12. So if he doesn't start to lock it in over there, you'll see the Rays go back to the Rays of old and run, run, run.
It's a strike. It's 3-1. Well, how many times does a pitching coach go to the mound after a pitcher's fallen behind on a dangerous hitter with the message of zero in on the hitter, and the runner takes advantage of that, as Longoria just did. And now there's ball 4. Back-to-back walks.
Yeah, and missing wildly and badly on a couple of those to Matt Joyce. Well, he's not been able to get the slider over with any consistency, the changeup not at all, and the fastballs haven't been located like he would like. Right now, just the only pitch that he can throw a strike with right now is the fastball. And that's what Jennings will be zeroing in on.
Here's Desmond Jennings, and he takes the pitch in there for a strike. One of the reasons the Blue Jays were so enthused about Hutchison, who's dealt with Tommy John surgery in his young career, this spring he had great command, and they were thrilled about that as they projected him going into the rotation. There's a line drive out of the reach of Tollison. Over to third goes Longoria. He'll have to stop there, and the bases are loaded as Jennings shoots a line drive just out of the reach of the Blue Jays second baseman.
see Tollefson backing up after holding on Longoria. That line drive just right off the end of the glove, and you'll see Evan, he's got to make sure that ball going to go through. So he's not able to score on that.
2 walks and now a base hit following the home run, and the bases are loaded for James Loney.
James Loney, he grounded out in his first at bat, but hit the ball hard.
And a pitch down to Loney, a ball, no strikes.
Second time through this lineup, these guys are getting much better looks. Hutchison, the command right now is not there. So they're getting good counts and putting good swings on Hutchison.
That's a strike. 1-1.
This is a big pitch for Hutchison. The 1-1 pitch, when you look at his breakout, the after he goes to 2-1 or after he goes to 1-2, the average goes from 0.91 if he gets ahead of you 1-2. If he falls behind you 2-1, it's 340. Huge swing.
And a shot toward the gap into left center. Cabrera closes to make the catch. Longoria tags. He will score. The throw to third offline. Moving into third, Joyce. Jennings trails up to second. And the Rays get their second run of the inning to tie the game on a sacrifice fly by James Loney.
How about that? Medium depth fly ball into left center field, and the Rays everybody on base moves up 90 feet. You're going to score a run on that, no question, but then you get everybody else to move up. Now you got 2 runners in scoring position with 2 outs.
Yeah, and that's great in basketball. I guess they'd call it court awareness, good field awareness, as Cabrera had to go to his left to make that catch. He's not going to throw many runners out anyway, but particularly running away from any play that he might have to make.
And that's why you have these meetings before every series. So all these guys, when they get out there on base, they know who has the strong arms, who are we going to challenge, who are we going to hold up on. And Melky Cabrera, obviously one of those guys that they're going to challenge his arm.
Now a 2-ball, no strike count on Will Myers. Rays taking advantage of a couple of walks to tie the game. And Will is ahead in the count 3-0. And they're going to go ahead and walk him intentionally with Figueroa on deck. So rather than mess with Myers down 3-0, they'll load the bases. And boy, here's a chance for Figueroa to cross up their strategy.
Well, he had the little cue shot base hit his first time up. Well, yeah, what a huge lift this would be for the Rays if Figueroa could come through.
22 pitches here in this inning for Hutchison. Figueroa fouls it back a third. Out of play for a strike. Todd Redmond is up in the bullpen.
I think manager John Gibbons is looking at the same thing that we are and saying the command is just not there right now for Hutchison. He's not going to wait around.
Figueroa fouls it again.
You know, this is a team that's been playing very well. They've swept their last 2 series, Boston and Oakland. And on top of that, they've struggled against the Rays, especially recently. And so if you want to take that next step as a team and be a division leader, you've got to be able to beat the teams that you've had trouble against. And the Rays have been one of those teams. So you're not going to wait and let this game get out of hand.
Bases loaded, 2 strikes the count to Figueroa. And another foul ball out of play. We talked about this Toronto offense and how devastating it has been to opposing pitching recently, but they've been getting good pitching. You know, they won 6 in a row and 11 out of 13, and their team ERA in that stretch is 2.61. Down and in. It's 1-2.
There's really no facet of the game that is not clicking. All cylinders right now. The pitching, the hitting, the defense.
Figueroa hits it by the mound, backhanded by Tollison, and the throw to first in time to retire the side. The Rays send 8 men to the plate. They scored 2 runs. The first one coming on the 5th home run of the year by David DeJesus. We're in the middle of the 3rd, and this game is tied at 2. Third inning, 2-2 tie. Melky Cabrera, the second man in John Gibbons' lineup, leads off. It'll be Cabrera, Bautista, and Encarnacion. First pitch is a strike from Bedard. Well, Bedard started this game by giving up 5 consecutive hits. Got out of that in the first, allowing just 2 runs. He had a 1-2-3 second inning. There's a ground ball, and it's going to go through the right side. Cabrera reaching out, picks up his second hit.
Well, Melky Cabrera looked over at the right side and saw a wide open side of the field. Figueroa was shading Melky Cabrera up the middle, so you get a pitch away with that kind of defense. Well, you can see right here. Well, you can see Figueroa out right up there behind second base. So look at that. You just get a pitch that's out there. That's what makes it easy to pitch away.
Well, here's Jose Bautista. That's high. Bautista comes into this game hitting .426 against left-handed pitching. He had an RBI single his first time up. Lifts it into left center field with hang time for Jennings. Desmond makes the catch. So that's the first out. This Saturday, it's a full day of MLB action, beginning with the Braves taking on the Marlins on Fox Sports 1. Then it's baseball night in America on Fox as your Rays battle the Red Sox. Our MLB doubleheader begins Saturday at 3:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1 and continues at 7 p.m. Eastern on Fox. There's Edwin Encarnacion. He hits one down the left field side toward the corner. over there to make the catch. It's Joyce, just fair for the second out. Boy, anytime this guy swings the bat, you're worried.
Yeah, and it looked, the trajectory and the swing, it looked like that had a chance. Obviously, he mishit that ball because it wasn't anywhere near. But you're right. Look at that swing. A strong, powerful swing that is red hot right now. And this ball right off the end of the bat. If he could just hold up another split second, that would have been tape measure.
Now Brett Lawrie. And the fastball taken for strike one. Lawrie singled into left field in the first. Lawrie, an aggressive hitter up there. .213 against lefties, with 2 of his 8 home runs off left-handed pitching. Takes a cut at the fastball, fouling it straight back.
Well, the one thing about this Blue Jay lineup, the tenets of which have not changed in the last couple of years, is extreme aggression. I mean, they are up there. They figure they have 3 pitches, and they're going to make the most of them, and they're going to try to tear into something.
Yeah, I don't think they let you on the team unless you agree to that approach. And a big cut and a miss upstairs with the fastball, and Lawrie is out on strikes. Leadoff single, Cabrera left on. We go to the 4th, tied 2-2. The Rays with 2 runs in the 3rd, answering 2 first-inning runs by the Blue Jays. Yunel Escobar in the box to open it. Drew Hutchison delivers, and the pitch is down, a ball and no strikes.
It'll be interesting to see if Drew Hutchison can get it going with the secondary pitches, because if he does not, the Rays, I would imagine, are going to chase him early.
It's a strike in the upper part of the zone. It's now 1-1.
Right now, the only pitch for Hutchison that he's been able to consistently throw for a strike is the fastball, and they've not always been quality strikes.
High pop fly, short right field. Kevin Pillar makes the catch. That gives Escobar 0 for 2. Ryan Hannigan looked at a fly ball into right his first time. The strike. Hannigan has remained active and played through some leg issues that surfaced on the last road trip. And he's quickly behind in the count, 0-2.
And his playing time almost been going every other game. You know, that's something that you do not want to aggravate with Ryan Hannigan, with what he means to this team. Offensively, more importantly even than that, defensively.
Yeah, what he does to block pitches and call pitches, the relationship that over time has developed in the handling of this staff has been very important.
And how about the slowing down of the running game? The Rays were terrible at that last year.
Yep. Shortstop Reyes, and the throw to first in time. Hannigan is the second out. We'll celebrate the end of the school year by honoring the teachers who work hard all year long. Come out to Teachers Appreciation Night Saturday, June 7th, when the Rays take on the Seattle Mariners. Purchase this special discounted ticket package and receive a seat in the lower level and a customized Rays grading stamp set for just $29. For tickets, visit raysbaseball.com/special events. Here's David DeJesus. 1 ball, no strikes.
The grading stamp.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's an interesting. Listen, the Rays giveaways always of top quality and always unique. I'm wondering if the grading stamp, what do you think, the Rays burst?
It would
instead
make
of a
sense,
star?
wouldn't it? It would make sense. In fact, what a great idea it would be to have that burst distributed through the entire Tampa Bay area school system.
Right.
Put that stamp on the top of an excellent paper.
Listen, if you want to brainwash, you got to go to the children. And that's what you do.
We would prefer to call it promotion and marketing.
Either way, it all works. Propaganda.
I'm telling you, though, how about that? Let's have all the school children who earn that great grade on that paper they worked so hard on, or that math test that they aced, have the Rays burst right on top of it.
I'm all for it.
There's a shot to center field. Ghost closing, however, reaching down on that sinking liner and making a nice running catch, taking a base hit away from DeJesus. If that ball gets by him, DeJesus is still running. We are tied 2-2. Nissan. Get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life and save big today. Shop ChooseNissan.com. The Florida Department of Transportation, who reminds you to drive sober or get pulled over. And by Blue Bell Ice Cream. First pitch here in the bottom of the fourth inning. 1 ball, no strike. Yonder Navarro leading it off. Eric Bedard on the hill. 2-0. Steve Tollefson next, and then Kevin Pillar. That's a strike. There's Tollefson on deck. Fly ball deep to left. Joyce will go to the wall for this one, and it is gone. Navarro hits his second home run of the year, his first from the right side of the plate. And it's 3-2 Toronto.
Only the second home run that Eric Bedard has given up since the middle of September last year. The first one he gave up was to left-hander Brandon Moss in his last start. In fact, that was the only hit he gave up in that game. And that was just a center-cut fastball that Navarro caught flush.
Well, Tollefson hits one deep to left, and that one's going to get out of here. Back-to-back fastballs, back-to-back home runs. And the Blue Jays lead by 2. Well, you worry about guys like Bautista and Encarnacion, but it's Navarro and Tollefson who've gone back-to-back here in the fourth.
Dwayne, coming into play today, how about this? Eric Bedard has held leadoff hitters to 1 for 20. Now, obviously, that changed with the base hit by Jose Reyes to lead things off. He's handled 3 and 4 hitters very, very well all season. It has been the 6, 7, and 8 hitters that have driven in now 12 of the, let's see now, 17 runs. It's RBIs against Bedard have come down at the bottom of the order.
Well, the big cut and a miss. Pillar thinking about the long ball with that cut.
Well, this is, we talked about it last half inning, or 1 inning ago. This Blue Jay offense so aggressive up and down. That just seems to be a prerequisite for getting your name in the lineup. And you see 2 home runs in front of you, you want to make it 3.
Up the middle. Figueroa got his glove on it, but stumbled. And so Pillar is aboard.
Well, they had Figueroa positioned nicely. This ball was hit hard, but there's Figueroa in order to make the play. And he's just not able to do it. Body gets a little bit out of whack. Ball rattles around in the glove. You never know what's going to do in there. And it popped out.
An error charge to Figueroa. Pillar's aboard with nobody out. Here's Anthony Gose. Gose shortens and takes the pitch for a ball. Blue Jays have now hit 72 home runs already this year.
Have the Angels played today? Because they were the team that was trailing them coming into play with just 55. That's how far of a lead or how big of a lead they have on the next closest team.
Yeah, the Angels lost 5-1, and that one run came on a home run by Albert Pujols.
So they're up 72-56 and counting.
A 1-ball, no strike count. Goes, bunts. Throw to first, but Figueroa covering, taking Bedard's throw. So a sacrifice moves Pilar into scoring position.
Yeah, and that play at first base was a little closer than you would like. Anthony Gose from the left side talked about the speed of Reyes, the speed of Gose at the bottom as it wraps around. He got going pretty good here.
So with Pilar in scoring position and one out, it will be the top of the order. Jose Reyes, who is 1 for 2 in this game. He bunted his way on to start the first inning for the Blue Jays. 1-0 the count. One ball, one strike. One and two. Home runs by Navarro and Tolleson have opened the bottom of the fourth. Pilar, who reached on the error, is at second. One gone. Bedard ahead of Reyes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball, second base. Figueroa makes the throw to first, and over to third goes Pilar. 2 gone, and they still have Melky Cabrera to contend with, who is 2 for 2 tonight.
A frustrating year last year for Melky Cabrera after signing that deal with the Blue Jays. Off to a much better start this year. As you see, average home runs and runs batted in.
And there's a base hit into right center, chasing home Pilar, and it's a 3-run inning and a 5-2 game. For the second straight time, Cabrera goes the other way and picks up a base hit.
Now they continue to stay away from him, and that's what good hitters, hot hitters, will do. And Melky Cabrera comes up here again, chance to drive in a run. This ball stays away, and he just plays Pepper out there in right field.
Navarro, Tolleson, and Pilar have all scored. Here's Jose Bautista. And the pitch drops low. Bedard thought he might have had a first pitch strike with that one. upstairs with a fastball this time. It's going to make it a 3-ball, no strike count.
And you got to be very, very careful here. Obviously, Jose Bautista, one of those hitters that's going to have the green light, no doubt, on a 3-0. Probably the majority of this lineup is going to have the green light 3-0.
And he does. It takes a big cut, fouling it back. 3-1. And when they have the green light, it is green, as we saw by that cut.
They don't get cheated. My goodness.
That's a strike. So we go to 3-2.
That didn't look like that. I don't think Jose Bautista thought it was a strike. I didn't think it was a strike. That's a breaking ball, too, that high up. Take it.
3-2. Ground ball outside of third, foul.
I don't think Bautista really minded, though, because it just allows him another opportunity to swing the bat.
Well, there's a great gesture right there, that young Rays fan. Handing that souvenir off to that young Rays fan. The Rays fan to the Jays fan down there in the left field stands. Swing and a miss on the fastball. That retires the side, but back-to-back home runs to start the inning. The other run unearned, reaching on the error. A 3-run frame, and the Rays are down 5-2.
The fifth inning, Joe Madden looking over that lineup card. Guys, you say one of your favorite things is always trying to figure out the lineups when you get to the ballpark. I think the players feel the same way as Evan Longoria leads off here in the inning. Desmond Jennings, as Longoria sends a fly ball to right field, Pilar goes back in front of the track and makes the play, drifting onto the track. Desmond Jennings in 365 starts for the Rays had been in every slot in the lineup except for the cleanup spot. And what Joe Maddon wanted to do today was not move Longoria out of the 2 position. He also knew that Will Myers had been struggling a little bit lately, didn't want to put pressure on him into the 4 spot. So for the first time in his career, he's been in every other position. Desmond Jennings gets to hit forward today, guys.
And he'll be up 3rd here in the 5th inning. Longoria the first out. Now Matt Joyce and then Desmond Jennings. Well, the Rays scored a couple runs in the 3rd off Hutchison when he gave up, among other things, a solo home run to David DeJesus, but appeared to start having some command issues. Then he came back to retire the Rays 1, 2, 3 in the 4th, and now 1 out in the 5th inning.
And he's still having those same issues with the secondary pitches. He's been a little bit better with the fastball, but the secondary pitches have been very inconsistent.
That's a strike. Fastball, 2-1.
One thing that he has benefited from is his offense. Put up 5 so far here in the bottom of or top of the 5th.
Out of play the other way, and it's a 2-2 count. Rays have been out hit 9-3. They trail 5-2. This one headed for the gap into left center field. That will bounce all the way to the wall. Joyce on his way to second, and there's a 2-base hit for Matt. He's on for the 3rd time. That's his 8th double of the year.
Well, if you're going to come in, you had better get it in there. Watch this ball leak back out across the plate right there. That allows Matt Joyce to get into it, get extension, and drill that ball out into left center field.
Well, here's an opportunity for Desmond Jennings to chip away at this deficit. Fly ball, right center field. Pilar on the run, Ghost on the run, and that ball is gone. More than chipping away. A 2-run shot to right center field off the bat of Desmond Jennings. And now it's a 1-run ball game. Desmond's 5th home run of the year. How about that for a cleanup hitter?
Acting just like one. Hey, listen, you put me in this spot, I'm going to produce like a guy that's hitting in the 4-hole, and I'm going to do it the other way. You know, again, these command issues by Hutchison. And you just hope that they can continue to take full advantage.
Well, that home run high enough apparently to bring rain. We have rainfall here now in Toronto. James Loney takes a pitch down and in. A 5-4 ball game on the home run to right center field by Desmond Jennings.
Rain with the roof open. It must have caught him by surprise, I'm assuming. A passing shower.
Well, it's a very warm day by Toronto standards today. Temperature reaching into the 80s here. One out with 2 runs home here in the top of the 5th. Sliced foul and into the stands. Aaron Loop, the left-hander, loosening in the bullpen. Two to Loney. Did he go? He did not on the appeal. So The count is going to go to 3-2. Again, foul out of play into the stands as it sliced down that left field side. It's Will Myers on deck. There's a shot toward the gap into deep right center field. That ball is gone. Back-to-back home runs by the Rays, and this game is tied 5-5 on James Loney's drive out of here into right center.
You could see this trouble brewing from about the second inning on. Drew Hutchison has not been able to throw his secondary stuff for strikes consistently, and the fastball command has been spotty at best. And watch this one right down the middle.
The Rays have hit 3 home runs tonight. DeJesus hit one in the third. Jennings and Loney going back to back in the 5th inning. Now it's Will Myers. That's a strike. Cut and a miss. Hutchison starting Myers with a slider, getting off that fastball. It's foul back, out of play, 0-2.
You know, these teams, they continue to try to exploit that hole for Myers down and away. And that's why you start him off with that slider. That fastball, see, that's the one fastball that Myers is going to have to handle. The one that's away from him, but it's elevated. He's got long enough arms and good enough plate coverage to get to that. The one down and away is where they're trying to go.
He shoots this one toward the gap in left center field. The ball one hops, knocked down by Gose. He recovers. Going to be a play at second, and Myers is out. Brian O'Nora on the call. And Joe Maddon's going to come out to talk with O'Nora about a potential challenge.
Well, let's take a look at it. Here's going to be the slide and the tag. Right here, Tollison not touching anything. Well, maybe got the arm right there, or that's close. Clear and convincing. This may be one of those calls. This may be one of those calls that, well, whatever's called in the field is going to stay there.
Yeah, well, here's a call that apparently is not going through. The Rays having trouble with the telephone in the dugout.
This is where you need a messenger.
And so Davey apparently, we're assuming, finally was able to make contact there, and so there will be no challenge.
Well, here it is. Tollison looking for that arm as he puts the tag down. Will Myers presents himself as a target. And, you know, his hand may have brushed up against that glove too before it even got to the bag. That was a close play, but the Blue Jays prevail.
So Myers gets a base hit and is thrown out, trying to stretch it into a double on the recovery by Anthony Gose in center field. That's the second out of the inning. Cole Figueroa, the pitch is a strike.
Let's not forget too, that hit by Myers was on an 0-2 breaking ball that again stayed right out over the plate.
This one lifted into left center. Cabrera making the call, and the Rays are finished, but they score 3 to tie it It's a 5-5 ball game.
In 2007, Danny Dudek was paralyzed from the knees down from an IED blast in Iraq. Since, he has gone on to win 7 gold medals at the Warrior Games. Also, Danny has completed half marathons and sprint triathlons. Danny continues to remain active, serving in the Army's Warrior Transition Command Unit. Fox Sports and USAA honor Lieutenant Colonel Danny Dudek.
We welcome you back on this Memorial Day where the Rays are playing in Toronto. First pitch in the bottom of the 5th inning. Edwin Encarnacion looks at a fastball for a strike. Brett Lawrie next, and then Deoner Navarro. Now the Rays keep battling back. They trailed 2-0, tied it at 2. They trailed 5-2, and now they've tied it at 5.
Keep breathing new life for Eric Bedard out there, and for their chances of winning this game.
It's 2-1.
You get the feeling too that whatever pitcher can figure it out first. Hutchison with his command. Some of the same issues with Bedard in this start.
That's strike 2. Bedard a little over 70 pitches. And that's Alex Colomé, who has joined the ball club, just recalled. Up the right side, that's going to be fair. Head back into the corner. Myers will play the carom out of the right field corner. And Encarnacion is on for the second time, picking up the 10th hit of the night for the Blue Jays.
Now they just continue to swing. Extra base hits. Balls up and away, and Encarnacion goes after it and is able to keep it fair. Blue Jays off and running here again in the 5th.
The Rays will talk it over on the mound as Colomé loosens in the bullpen.
That's exactly what this is all about. You know, Joe Maddon will signal out to Ryan Hannigan, go out to the mound, talk to Eric Bedard, and this is all about not only trying to get things under control out on the field, but allow that bullpen to heat up, give Colomé a few extra throws, get him closer to coming in the game.
Brandon Dyer has gone on the DL, and that's the spot that was made vacant, and so Colomé recalled. Here's Brett Lawrie. This pitch behind him, and it gets away from Hannigan. A wild pitch. Encarnacion goes to third.
Well, Ryan Hannigan's so good at knocking everything down back there. We see it night in and night out, but this is tough. That is a fastball down. Well, you'd like to say down and in, but it's down and behind Brett Lawrie.
Now the potential go-ahead runs at third with nobody out. That makes the situation that much tougher. There's a strike. It's 1-1. That's paired between Loney and Anaheim. Lowry's going to go for 2, and he is safe. Encarnacion scores the go-ahead run. It's 6-5 Toronto.
And right now they're hitting everything. How Brett Lowry even got to that pitch. You see him right there, a little nicked up in the head after that slide into second. Look at this pitch. That ball is almost neck high. Just like Encarnacion, able to keep it fair. Here's the play. He slides right into the right knee of Escobar. Dings up his head a little bit.
Now Deoner Navarro will step in. So the Rays again find themselves down, this time by a run. Ground ball by the mound. That's going to skip through into center. Lowry's on his way to the plate. Navarro drives in his second run of the game, and it's 7-5. Not hit all that hard, but once it got by the mound, it was through.
They're finding every hole up the right field line. Then a chopper here. Once that gets by Bedard, Figueroa's got to come from too far away to get to it. And another run for the Blue Jays. And that
Joe Madden heads to the mound. So that's going to be it for Eric Bedard. 4 innings plus 3 men in the 5th. We'll be back with the new Rays pitcher in a moment. Called today. He was just reinstated yesterday from that 50-game suspension. Made his major league debut last year with the Rays against the Miami Marlins. That was on May the 30th. And he pitched 5 2/3 innings in that one with 7 strikeouts. Just a couple of walks, 1 run. It was unearned. And the Rays added him to the roster with Brandon Guyer going on the DL. Geyer with a fractured thumb. And so Colome's here to do exactly what he's doing right now, and that would be to give the bullpen a little added depth here in case Bedard had to leave early. Well, he leaves after 4 innings plus.
12 hits. I tell you, this Blue Jay team has been red hot. They found the holes tonight. They've taken advantage of some pitches out over the plate and chasing Bedard. He still has a runner on first, and Colome trying to come in and put this inning to a halt. And the one thing that we remember from that outing against the Marlins, the work that he did, a little bit of work that he did for the Rays last year, tremendous stuff. Ball jumps out of his hand.
Well, Juan Francisco will be the pinch hitter for Steve Tollefson, with Navarro at first and nobody out. And boy, Francisco's bat has been a big addition to this Blue Jays ball club, and he has given them some flexibility as well. See, 8 home runs and a .280 average
in 28 games.
Yep.
28 games, and the BP that we saw him take this afternoon was epic.
It was impressive indeed. You talk about teeing off in batting practice. He did. He hit a couple of tremendous shots, one out to center and one way out of here to right field.
That one to right field, it looked like a line drive off the bat, like a gapper, and it went upper deck. It just never came down. I mean, it was pretty incredible.
Colome falls behind him. Francisco with big league time in the National League with the Reds, the Braves, and the Brewers. Three balls and a strike. Kevin Pillar due to hit next. And ball 4. That moves Navarro up to second base as Francisco takes over at first on the first walk issued by Rays pitching tonight. Now here's Pillar. He reached on an error and scored a run in the 4th inning. Sends a fly ball toward the line and right for Myers. He makes the catch. Navarro back to tag, but he'll stick around second base. So Pillar is the first out of the inning. Two runs in the first, 3 in the 4th, and now 2 more in the 5th for the Blue Jays. The Rays scored 2 in the 3rd and then 3 in the 5th inning. Goes 0 for 1 with a sacrifice, and the fastball is fouled straight back. So Colome in relief of Bedard. He had made 3 rehab starts at Port Charlotte. This would have been his scheduled day to pitch again. Instead, he was recalled and pitching tonight against the Blue Jays. One ball, one strike. Goes originally with the Phillies in their organization, signed by the Phillies. Two balls and a strike. Chop right side. Colomé covers, and he is late. Ghost beat him in, and the bases are going to be loaded.
We talked about Ghost's speed at the bottom of the order. We saw it on the bunt where it was a very, very close play. Bedard throwing him out at first base, and here we see it again. The chopper, Colomé right there. You see him slow down initially, and by the time he picks it back up, Ghost has beat him to the bag. Boy, in games like this, contested games, a lot of scoring, those are mistakes that cannot be made. Boy, just kind of taking his time getting in there, and you see Ghost just beats him to the bag.
Well, a tough spot now with the bases loaded and the top of the order coming up. And as we've seen already, this guy, Jose Reyes, can do a lot with the bat. He's got speed. He's got some pop in his bat. He bunted his way on his first time up. There's ball one.
And you figure this too, if you're thinking, hoping for that double play ball, first of all, the infield's not in. They're playing back, not quite all the way back, but back far enough. Number two, he's going to have to hit it hard at somebody if you're going to double him up. So Rays have a tall order here.
Colomé's behind in the count, 2-0. Ball three. Navarro's at third base. Francisco at second. Ghost, the runner, at first. And ball four wasn't close, up and away. That's going to force home a run. Navarro crosses the plate. That one charged to Bedard. So the bases are still loaded. Melky Cabrera will be the hitter, and Jim Hickey heads to the mound.
I don't think this is exactly what Joe Maddon had envisioned when he brought Colomé into this ball game, but a couple of walks, a base hit, and now you've got bases loaded still. Cabrera, Bautista, and Encarnacion lurking. Already with a 3-run deficit.
8-5. All 8 runs charged to Bedard. Well, that says it all to this point. Cabrera will bat with the bases loaded and one gone. Cabrera has been on base 3 times tonight. Ball one. Melky Cabrera doubled home a run in the first. He later scored in that inning. And a base hit to lead off the third was left on, and then a single to right in the fourth drove in another run. Count 1 ball 1 strike. Fly ball center field. Jennings there to make the catch. The throw will be into second base with the tag at third, and Francisco crossing the plate. That run charged to Colomé, and it's 9-5. Cabrera driving in his third run of the night. Ghost advanced to third.
These teams just continue to go back and forth. Toronto jumps out, the Rays tie it. They go back out by 3, the Rays tie it. Now they've extended it to 4.
And Jose Bautista becomes the 9th Toronto hitter to step into the batter's box here in the bottom of the 5th. Fouls it, strike 1. Bautista had a base hit, the run batted in the first, and was caught in a rundown between first and second. Let's Ghost, the runner at third. Reyes on base at first. Move to first. Reyes back in. That was more of a little courtesy toss than anything. There goes Reyes. Pitch fouled straight back. That's going to be out of play. The count is 0-2. Reyes retreats to first. Four runs have scored. 2 men aboard. 2 outs and a 2-strike count to Bautista. Reyes takes off again, and the pitch is skied foul down the right side. So Reyes will again return to first base. Alex Colomé just activated today. He's in relief of Eric Bedard. Fourth at bat for Jose Bautista in this game. Only in the bottom of the 5th. A lot of offense so far. Upstairs, we've had 14 runs and 20 hits in this game as we play in the bottom of the 5th.
And the common theme through all 3 pitchers so far used in this game, command issues. Command within the strike zone, command out of the strike zone. Just not there. Not consistently.
Fly ball center field. Jennings cutting back to his left at the track makes the catch. 9 men come to the plate. The Blue Jays take a 4-run lead. It's now 9-5. Rays keep falling behind. They keep catching the Blue Jays. They fall behind. They catch them again, and now they're down 9-5 as we go to the 6th inning. Aaron Luke will be the new pitcher. Drew Hutchison is gone after 5. Our Fiat pitching change. Luke on for the 23rd time. So the starters now out of this game. Bedard gave up 8 in 4+. Hutchison gave up 5 in 5. See Juan Francisco now at 3rd. Brett Lawrie goes over to play 2nd. And Escobar takes a strike from the left-hander Loop.
And you see Loop already lower arm angle, cross body action.
There's a tap. Loop off the mound, off balance throw, and it's right there. A nice play by Loop. Kind of a fall away throw right on the money.
And I think Joe Maddon's going out there to see if maybe Edwin Encarnacion didn't pull his foot a little bit early. I don't think you're going to be able to do anything about that, but certainly worth a discussion.
And there's the look in to see. Nice to talk with you, and we'll talk again in the future, I'm sure. So the Rays will not challenge that one. Now Molina's going to hit for Hannigan. Hannigan has had those leg issues, and there were a couple of plays in the bottom of the 5th where his reactions seemed to indicate that there might be something up with that, and the Rays just don't want to push that any more than they have to. And so Molina will enter the game. One ball, no strikes. So Hannigan lifted for the pinch hitter. 2-0. The starter Hutchinson was in the mid-80s in his pitch count through 5. And so both starters are the pitchers of record. Count goes to 3-1. Pretty good fastball from Loop at 93. Three and two.
Yeah, so not only does he give you a little deception with his delivery, but he's also able to compound your issues with the good velocity on the heater.
Well, you can see that step and how he throws across his body. Take a look at that.
Kind of hides the ball, steps over this way, that low 3/4, and then bores it right in on the right. He's going to be a much tougher at bat, you would figure, for left-handed hitters with those mechanics.
And strike 3 call. Molina caught looking. So 2 outs.
Boy, he spots that up nicely. Down and in. You see it right there on Fox Tracks. Right at the knees.
Boy, that was a perfect pitch from the left-hander Loop. Now David DeJesus will step in from the left side to get a look at it. Outside, 1 ball, no strikes. One and one. David homered in the 3rd, his 5th home run of the year. The Rays have hit 3 home runs tonight. One and two.
I mean, he's stepping borderline right at you. I mean, if you're David DeJesus, he's stepping over your way and then crossfire in that fastball at 94 miles an hour down and away across the plate. What a tough at bat. If he hits his spots, it's going to be difficult to do much of anything against him.
2 and 2. Loop came up through the Blue Jays system. He went to Tulane University. He's out of Louisiana. The chop, that's going to be a fair ball up the left field line. Cabrera hustles to it. DeJesus heads for second, and he is out at second base. Laurie finally goes after him to tag him. So DeJesus cut down at second after that base hit the opposite side, and Cabrera goes to Laurie to throw him out. Taking a look at Alex Cobb. Had the no decision on Thursday, but pitched extremely well. 3 hits over 6 2/3. He'll be on the mound tomorrow. We'll be with you at 6:30 on Sun Sports with the second game of this series. And our Chevron pitching matchup will find Alex Cobb going up against the veteran left-hander Mark Burley. So that's a premier pitching matchup. Cobb and Burley tomorrow night from Toronto. In the bottom of the 6th inning, Edwin Encarnacion leads it off. Takes a big wave and a miss. It's strike 1.
Encarnacion was sitting dead red fastball. He got the slider, went through with a half-hearted swing.
Strike on the outside part of the plate. Fastball. Take a look at the location of this one.
Boy, this is down and away. I mean, right on the edge.
It's a nice combo, that slider and a fastball out there.
Well, you can envision a lot of ways to work those into a sequence. Get that kind of swing from a hitter like Encarnacion and spot that fastball at the knees.
Two balls, 2 strikes. It's Brett Lawrie on deck. Long one to left off the bat of Encarnacion, and he hits this one out. Number 15 for Encarnacion. Boy, what a month of May he is having. That's his 13th home run this month.
And when a team's hot, this goes to show you. That sequence shows you how hard sometimes it is to get a hitter out. 2 great pitches to start the at-bat and get ahead, and still, that's the final result.
So it's 10-5 Toronto. Lawrie goes after one and pops it foul. That's out of play. A 1-strike count. The high foul going to be out of play. Into the seats down the left field side. So home run by Encarnacion, the 3rd home run hit by the Blue Jays tonight. Rays have hit 3, the Blue Jays have hit 3, and the Blue Jays lead by 5.
And you've seen some of the swings that these guys have been taking all night long. You talk about a comfortable team in the box. And they're hot and they're powerful. And they just continue to sit in there and just dare you to throw them a strike.
There's a guy, Lawrie, swings hard all the time as well. But as we mentioned earlier, you almost have to be a part of this team. That's their standard operating procedure.
It is. And as a pitcher, you know, you look at this game, who do you think owns that plate tonight?
No question about that. This one is chopped to third, and Longoria's throw to first in time. So Laurie's the first out. Deontay Navarro, who homered in the 4th inning from the right side of the plate. It's been a complete team effort from the Blue Jays lineup tonight. Navarro opened the fourth inning with a home run to the right side. Fastball hit into the bullpen. That's a strike at the knees. Now 1-1. Ground ball toward the middle, and Figueroa to his right has plenty of time and throws out Navarro. 2 gone. As promised earlier in the game, we have the AT&T fan photo of the game. Tweet your photo to hashtag #SunSportsFanPhoto for a chance to be shown in an upcoming game broadcast brought to you by AT&T.
I'm sensing a theme, Dwayne, with the AT&T fan photos. Okay? The clearest way to get in, include a pet, or have it taken with somebody on the crew. Todd, Restus, Kelly.
Yep.
That's it. Those are your two that get in every single time.
Francisco fouls this one off.
And if you can do that and wear a DJ Kitty hat, it's a slam dunk. Guaranteed.
Oh, you might be in multiple times with that combo. Try to color coordinate your outfit with the DJ Kitty cap.
Tips, just giving you tips.
Francisco pinch hit in the 5th. He walked and scored after Tollison, who started in that spot, hit a home run in the 4th inning. That's how tough this lineup is. You hit a home run in the 4th, and the next time you're due up, they pinch hit for you.
I mean, really.
Two outs following the leadoff home run by Edwin Encarnacion in the 6th. Molina and Colomé talk it over. One the count. Strike on the edge. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You saw the no-hitter yesterday by Josh Beckett. Did you see that the Dodgers catcher A.J. Ellis went on the disabled list, was hurt celebrating, jumping up and down, landed on his catcher's mask, and rolled his ankle and went on the DL celebrating the no-hitter.
2-2. In a way, you're surprised that there aren't more injuries coming out of the celebrations of walk-offs and home runs and things like that.
They get pretty aggressive out there.
Yep.
I mean, the other day with Cole Figueroa, when he dropped that base hit to right center field.
Yep. Towering fly ball to center. Jennings is there waiting for this one to come down. So Encarnacion hits the leadoff home run. It's 10-5 through 6. Seventh inning underway with Evan Longoria leading off. He had walked and scored in the third. The Rays facing left-hander Aaron Loop. His first pitch is a strike. Evan reaching for the pitch and is now behind in the count 0-2.
Well, you've got to be ready to handle 94 to 96. We've seen Luke get that fastball up to. And there he drops the changeup at 81.
Up the middle, and it's caught, knocked down by Laurie, and no play. So Longoria is aboard. Evan getting a base hit for that. Laurie trying to take one away from Evan, but Longoria is aboard.
Well, he was positioned properly. He's got a chance to get there. Oh, just not able to make the catch. And then the ball bounds away from him. And that was the only chance, is to come up with that clean. And you see the ball just missed the glove, got into the body.
It's a foul ball off the bat of Matt Joyce for a strike. He's wearing the camo letters across the chest and numbers on their back, as well as the camo caps with the blue bills, the dark blue bills. It's a good look.
It's a really good look, and it's very effective. You know, you catch some of the different lighting. It's tough to read the names on the backs. The camo's doing its job.
Yeah, who's in the bullpen? You can't tell the numbers.
Yeah. I see an 8. I don't know what that says up top.
Pitch inside, 1-2. The Blue Jays wearing the camo caps from the Canadian Forces, but it's a simulated approximation. It's actually illegal to wear the actual camo from the Canadian military. There's a strike called, and Joyce is the first out.
Speaking of illegal,
yep,
I think we could make that breaking ball by Luke illegal. How about this? Shouldn't be allowed.
That's what Matt Joyce said to the plate umpire Corey Blazer as he left. He said, isn't that pitch illegal? There's some military camouflage on that pitch. First pitch to Jennings is outside. It's a ball and no strikes. One and one. You have these caps that simulated approximation of the camo of the Canadian disruptive pattern is what that's called. It's like the pattern on that breaking ball. No national secrets on that edition, though.
No.
It's guarded.
Canadian disruptive pattern.
That's it. That's what they call it.
And it's illegal to duplicate.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You can come close to it, but there are elements of it that are not available to the general public. So Longoria will move to second on the walk to Jennings. Now James Loney will bat. Loney homered in the fifth. There's a strike to Loney. Rays have 9 hits, but they've been out hit 14-9. Two. Boy, that could be a tough at bat for those lefties.
You got a tough arm angle to deal with. You've got across the body action. You've got good velocity on the fastball and tremendous sweeping break on the slider. You had better believe extremely difficult.
Popped up in foul territory. Juan Francisco. 2 gone. So Loney fouls out to the third baseman.
This breaking ball does not get down and away, kind of hangs up there a little bit, but even so, it's still difficult, and James Loney pops it up. And he thought he got a pitch that he could handle.
Well, let's see what Will Myers can do. The Rays kept coming back earlier in this game. Scored 3. Recent is the 5th, and here's a ground ball rolled toward Reyes. The pick up and the throw to first. Well, Myers will make it close over there, but he is out number 3. Go to the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays lead 10-5.
Here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. In case you missed a little scene earlier, kind of a cool thing happened here on a foul ball off the bat of Jose Bautista. A young fan in a Rays uniform named Daniel got this ball from the ball guy down the left field line, and he ended up giving it to a Blue Jays fan. Here they are right here, Tom and Daniel. Daniel, that was a very nice gesture that you had to give it to a younger kid. Tom, I want to ask you first before we ask Daniel, were you surprised? Because a lot of people would think, well, he probably already had a baseball before. He didn't have any when he gave that away, right?
Oh, it's just the kind of kid he is. He's just a great kid, really generous, and always looking after the younger kids. He knew probably he'll get a ball later on. He gets balls typically in a game, but to get the first one, I thought it was a really special, nice thing to do.
That was really nice. And did you end up getting a baseball?
Yes.
How did that happen?
Well, it was a foul ball, and a guy caught it. Well, he didn't catch it. It hit the ground, and he caught it, and he gave it to me.
That's very cool. Now, he's been going out. He's on the end seat normally. We've switched spots here for TV, but he's been going after the foul ball. So you got a chance to get another one tonight, too. Do you think you might get one?
Maybe.
Who's your favorite player?
Evan Longoria.
Now, these guys moved. They were born in the Tampa Bay area. Daniel was born in St. Petersburg, right? And now you've moved up to Canada. Is it tough as a Rays fan? Are most of your buddies Toronto Blue Jays fans?
Yes.
And so you're still representing, even though you've moved back here?
Yes, I am.
Nicely done. Well, listen, sometimes when you pay it forward, as this ball sent to right field, Will Myers is looking up, and this is off the wall. That is going to be a leadoff double for Kevin Pillar to start the inning. Sometimes when you pay it forward, it works out. You've already got one ball. Another guy gave you a ball. And we've got one from the Rays clubhouse, too, for you, okay? So this was right from the Rays clubhouse that they used. They ain't even used it yet. This is a brand new one. So there you go. You've got two. So keep cheering for the Rays, even though you're up here in Canada. Guys, thank you very much. It was a very nice thing you did, all right?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great.
All right, guys, back to you.
All right, Todd, it's a great story. We saw him earlier hand off that baseball to the younger Blue Jays fan, and paying it forward indeed. Good fortune all the way around, and a loyal Rays fan, even though he's up here and severely outnumbered.
Especially yesterday. How about they had 44,000 here?
Yep.
Fourth sellout of the season. It's a big place, too.
Pillar is double to open the bottom of the seventh. Anthony Gose lines it the other way, but that's going to stay up and be caught by Matt Joyce. And that's the first out.
Boy, even their outs are loud.
Alex Colomé in relief of Eric Bedard. Jose Reyes bats with a runner at second base and one out. There's a strike. Again, Colomé added to the roster with Brandon Guyer going on the DL. Boy, a tough, literally a tough break on that hairline fracture of his thumb for Guyer making the catch in the game yesterday. He stayed in the game, actually got a base hit after the injury occurred. Into center field. And Jennings makes the catch. And Pillar will hang on at second. He's there with two gone. When you're at the beach this summer, make sure to show your Rays pride with the Rays beach towel. The item available exclusively with the purchase of a Tampa Bay Times ticket tandem Friday, June 6th, when the Rays host the Mariners. Get your tickets now at raysbaseball.com/tandems or call 888-FAN-RAYS. This is Melky Cabrera. And he has had a good night. A double, two singles, and a sacrifice fly. He scored a run and has 3 runs batted in tonight. One ball, no strikes. Pitch inside, 2-0. Runner at second is Pillar with 2 gone. A little wide. 3-0. You know, the frustrating thing about the injury to Guyer, number one, he had been so patient, waiting to get playing time, started to get some playing time, was productive, and now has to wait this injury out. You know, you're probably going to see, 3 weeks or so,
yep,
at least on that.
Yeah, that stings. That stings because he was certainly fun to watch as he became more comfortable being out there more often. We talked about it just a couple of games ago about how he's been an everyday player all his life, and then all of a sudden is asked to fill a role up here that he's never done before. So of course there were going to be some starts and stops along the way, but he had started to get it going and really brought a spark, an energy, production, and then to have that happen, that just really stinks.
So he'll be lost for a time. Ben Zobrist, who's been out with that dislocated left thumb, apparently the plan is to have him play a couple games at Charlotte starting tomorrow and see how all of that works out. He's taken batting practice at the Trop on the last homestand. Batista lets the fly ball to left, and Matt Joyce makes the catch. So we're through 7 innings of the score, 10-5 Blue Jays. In the opening game of this series, our pitching performance recap presented by Volkswagen. A look back and a look ahead with Cobb scheduled to pitch tomorrow, and that no decision he had in Thursday's return. 6 2/3 scoreless of 3-hit baseball.
Picked up right where he left off. Pitched into the 7th inning, didn't give anything up. 3 hits, said he had all 3 pitches working. And we'll be anxiously awaiting that start tomorrow, because on the other side you got Mark Burley, who throws below hitting speed, works quickly, has befuddled hitters and gotten off to a great start this year.
Yeah,
for the
if
Blue
you
Jays.
want fast-pitched or fast-paced pitching and pitching with a capital P, that's what we're going to see tomorrow night with those two guys.
Well, Burley works extremely quickly, and not many guys on the Rays staff, whether it be starter or reliever, does, except for Alex Cobb. He goes out there, gets it, and throws it.
Todd Redmond out of St. Petersburg on the mound right now, following Hutchison and Loop. Makes his 13th appearance. Old Figueroa fouls it back, and the count is 1-2.
Yeah, tomorrow the game that we'll see will resemble what most North Americans refer to as baseball. You're really
right.
good.
Yep. Pitch is high, 2-2. Redmond 4-3 last year with the Blue Jays. That covered 14 starts. Fly ball to center. Gose is there. So that's the first out in the 8th. And here's Yunel Escobar.
They love him here.
Got quite a following.
He does. Is that what you call it?
He lines it past the shortstop Reyes into left. And Escobar has his first hit of the game. For the Rays, that'll be hit number 10. And Jose Molina gets another trip to the plate. First pitch, take it outside. 1 ball, no strikes. It's up the right side, going to be fouled and out of play. And the count is 1-1. Redmond just turned 29 years old. And a high foul again up the right side, out of play for strike 2. He's ahead of Molina. Redmond had seen some big league time with Cincinnati, a brief stop with the Reds 2 years ago before splitting time last year with Buffalo and the Blue Jays, most of the year with Toronto. And a cut and a miss. So for the second time in this game in as many at bats, Molina out on strikes.
Watch how far Redmond takes this off the plate. That actually was off the plate when he released it, and it just continued to sweep away. And Molina, there's no bat out there long enough to reach that one.
So 2 gone. We go to the top of the order to Jesus. Two-hit night for DeJesus. He was thrown out in the 6th inning trying to stretch a base hit up the left side into a double. He homered in the 3rd.
You know, Dwayne, in looking to have something to talk about during the course of this game, I believe that Mike Redmond, it looks to me as if he's lowered his arm angle now coming out of the bullpen. Just a touch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the velocity's still good, but you lower that arm angle just a little bit. You know, he started back in last year, had 14 starts. He actually started against the Rays.
Yes, he did.
But, you know, you drop the arm angle just a little bit. You expect a little bit more movement, a little bit more run on the fastball. You can sweep the breaking ball. We saw that to Molina. And we do know that this Blue Jay ball club has a very strong bullpen. We saw with Loop. Casey Jansen is back now.
Yep, he's made a big difference, too,
Huge.
Closing games for them.
Yep. He works quickly, throws strikes. He's aggressive.
And Redmond, a good guy to have on the staff because he can start as well as work out of the bullpen. He walks DeJesus here with a pitch high. That's Casey Jansen back at the end of games for the Blue Jays. So Todd Redmond on here. Going to get a visit from Pete Walker, the pitching coach. Evan Longoria due to hit. It's a great new way for you to experience Rays baseball this year with the Rays Flex Packs. 3, 6, or 9 game packs offer fantastic savings, allowing you to select any games you'd like during the season. To purchase your Flex Pack, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. So here's Longoria to hit. Left-hander Cecil up in the bullpen with Matt Joyce on deck. Redmond misses too high. A ball, no strikes. Todd Redmond out of Northside Christian in St. Petersburg. Fly ball into right. Pilar on the move and is there to make the catch to retire the Rays in the 8th. Longoria making a bid for perhaps an extra base hit, and Pilar makes the catch on the move. 10-5 Toronto.
Open up this 8-game, 9-day road trip with the first of 3 here in Toronto. Tomorrow, as Dwayne and BA kind of gave you a sneak preview, will be a great pitching matchup. Alex Cobb against Mark Burley, as we'll have our Rays Live pregame show driven by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Arestas Estrada will talk about Melky Cabrera. All that coming up tomorrow beginning at 6:30 as O will host with Rich Hollenberg. Tonight, those two will host Rays Live, the postgame show presented by Checkers. We'll hear from Joe Madden after the game. I'll be gathering interviews from the Rays clubhouse, and Dwayne and BA will have their thoughts on this one as well. Rays Live, presented by Checkers, immediately following tonight's game, guys.
Alex Colomé set to go back to work here in the bottom of the 8th, and he'll face the middle part of the order, leading off with Edwin Encarnacion. Rays have the shift on, and this one a comebacker sharply hit. You know, you said last inning even their outs are loud, and even a comebacker to the mound is impressive.
Well, that's because you got a couple things in play here. Number one, you got a team that's hot. They've been scoring runs in bunches, and they're very comfortable in the box. I mean, very comfortable. These guys are standing up in there, and we see this a lot from this Toronto team when we come up here, and it seems like we talk about it about every trip, how they just get in the box, and if you don't move them, they're just going to stand there and take their rips. So you would better be very good that day, or you can run into a buzzsaw, and that's what happened today with the Rays pitching.
1 ball, no strikes. You wonder why people talk about where's the offense this year. We see hitters very comfortable. You know, the offense ought to be great.
Yeah,
because they're not afraid to dig in and swing.
Yeah, I think what it speaks to is the stuff of the pitchers. I think overall stuff around the league has gotten better. Velocity has gone up. You're seeing more really good breaking balls. I think that all of this stuff plays into why you're seeing more injuries.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly right.
There's a lot of different factors that factor in, but you are just seeing an increase of stuff around the league, and so that is able to combat the hitting.
The combination of great stuff, and then all the defense, the emphasis on information, and the deployment of defensive setups. I think all of that, and the point that you touched on there, I think the added velocity does lead to the increased number of arm injuries that we've seen.
You think about
strike to Navarro, because a lot of that velocity starts before we ever see these guys.
Yeah.
Before they ever see them in the minor leagues, that starts.
And some of these guys, the way that they really crank on these sliders that just wipe out type of sliders. And you can make yourself stronger and bigger and faster and everything else, but those connective tissues, ligaments, tendons, they are what they are.
That's exactly right.
And so if you, compromise them, they're going to go. And quickest way to do that is more and more torque, more and more pressure. You start to fatigue those muscles, ligaments take over, and that's not their job.
It's fouled out of play the other way. And, there is a train of thought, and it makes some sense now, that these young pitchers, when they are drafted into professional organizations, they're already to a degree injured. They're starting the process of that wear and tear on the ligaments, because there's such an emphasis on amateur players hitting the velocity numbers.
You want to get drafted?
That's the point.
There you go.
That's exactly it.
You want to go in the first round, get that big bonus, you better light up the gun.
And there's an entry, and Tom Verducci recently has written an article on that, and there was a point in there about the number of Tommy John surgeries and so few pitchers out of Latin America have that surgery. And the point is, they tend to, as amateur players, grow into their velocity as opposed to push it through all of the amateur ranks and pressures of being drafted, being a first-round pick, and hitting those velocity numbers early as young teenagers even.
Yeah, and your body's not fully fully formed yet. And
so the concept of growing into velocity, it seems the natural way to do it.
So there are just so many factors. You're never going to pin it down on one thing, because then when you start to talk about amateur baseball, then you start to talk about 11, 12-year-old kids that are playing 100 games a summer.
Yeah, too many.
Far too many. But they're playing on 2 or 3 different teams and travel ball and this and that and the other.
Yeah, multiple games in a day's time. Well, somebody has to pitch. And so if there's a young player out there who aspires to do that, it'd be hard to allow him to pitch so often and look for those numbers. Let them grow in to what they will grow into. Navarro the other way. Joyce back over the shoulder. He reaches up to make the catch. And the 8th inning is complete. A 1-2-3 8th for the Blue Jays. Nice grab out there by Joyce, and we'll head into the 9th. 10-5 Toronto. They're down. They've been out hit by 5, outscored by 5 in the opening game of this series. And here in the 9th, they're going to face the left-hander Rob Rasmussen. Here at Buffalo, 0-1 in 13 appearances with a .265 earned run average.
About the only thing on there that would raise a red flag are the walks. 10 walks in 17 innings. Good with the strikeouts, more than a strikeout an inning. Opponent's average very good. ERA.
Logan Forsythe. He will pinch hit for Matt Joyce as we go into the 9th. Joyce had a couple walks, a double, and a run scored tonight. The first pitch is a fastball in for a strike from Rasmussen. Rasmussen last worked 6 days ago against Boston. He got into that game for a third of an inning. 1-1 to count. Desmond Jennings will be next. One and two. Blue Jays grabbed the lead with a 2-run first. The Rays tied it with 2 in the 3rd. Toronto scored 3 in the 4th. The Rays 3 in the 5th to tie it. And from that point forward, the Blue Jays have taken charge. Forsythe is called out on strikes. Take a look at this called third strike.
You can see on Fox Tracks, not real close. Not much you're going to be able to do if you're Logan Forsythe on that pitch. Been that kind of a night.
So the hitter will be Desmond Jennings. It was Desmond's 2-run home run in the 5th inning that made it a 1-run game. Then Loney followed with a home run to tie it. But the Blue Jays scored 4 in the bottom of that inning, added another run in the 6th. There's a ball to Jennings. So Desmond, for the first time in his career hitting cleanup, has a single and a home run tonight. Chopped to third. Francisco with a long throw across to Encarnacion.
That was impressive. That was impressive because Francisco had to back up a little bit to play the hop as it got up on him. And he really couldn't step into the throw like he would want to. You see right there, he's got to stop now and let it fly. And he's accurate with it and in time.
Well, here's James Loney batting with the bases empty and 2 gone. Pitch high, 1 ball, no strikes. Rasmussen out of Pasadena, California. Chopped to first. Encarnacion takes care of that. 1, 2, 3 go the Rays. In the 9th, the Blue Jays take the first game of this series. It's a 10-5 final, and we'll be back with the totals in a moment.